In a world divided by flags, faiths, and philosophies, one truth quietly waits to be remembered: that before we were Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Jews, or atheists, we were simply human. The very breath we take, the warmth we feel, the love we share, these things have no religion. And yet, humanity often forgets its greatest virtue: to see the divine in one another. Our planet today is a masterpiece of contradictions. We have built skyscrapers that touch the clouds, but our hearts remain trapped in walls of prejudice. We have decoded the secrets of the universe, but still struggle to decode the meaning of kindness. We can reach Mars, but we fail to reach out to our neighbors. Religion, in its purest form, was never meant to divide. It was meant to elevate, to remind us of compassion, mercy, and truth. But when belief becomes a badge and not a behavior, when faith becomes a weapon instead of wisdom, the soul of humanity bleeds. Albert Einstein once said, "Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty." This circle, this idea, is the essence of humanity. Today, more than ever, we must ask, what good is our faith if it doesn't make us kinder? What meaning do our prayers hold if they don't bring peace to others? And what is civilization worth if it loses compassion? This is not a call to abandon religion. It is a call to return to its heart, to the core message shared by every prophet, saint, and sage: humanity above all. To be human is not just to exist. It is to feel, to care, to connect. It is to stand beside the suffering, to comfort the broken, to uplift the fallen. Humanity is the invisible thread that connects every soul, across borders and centuries. When a child cries in Gaza or Ukraine, that cry echoes in the heart of every person who still remembers what empathy feels like. When an earthquake shakes Japan or Pakistan, the pain reverberates across oceans, because human suffering knows no passport. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "You must not lose faith in humanity. Humanity is an ocean. If a few drops of the ocean are dirty, the ocean does not become dirty." These words remind us that kindness, though often unseen, is still the greatest force in the universe. True humanity is not measured by wealth, power, or status, but by the ability to feel another's pain as our own. When we give food to the hungry, shelter to the homeless, education to the forgotten, we are practicing the greatest religion: humanity. But today, empathy is at risk of extinction. In the race for success, we have forgotten compassion. Technology connects us virtually, but isolates us emotionally. Social media amplifies outrage, not understanding. And nations invest in weapons faster than they invest in wisdom. Yet, even in this darkness, sparks of humanity still burn bright. The doctor who risks his life during a pandemic. The volunteer who brings food to a refugee camp. The teacher who lights the mind of a child in poverty. The stranger who stops to help another on the roadside. These acts, simple, quiet, selfless, are the real prayers of our time. Every religion was born from the same moral soil: the longing for peace, justice, and love. In Islam, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "The most beloved of people to Allah are those who are most beneficial to people." In Christianity, Jesus Christ taught, "Love your neighbor as yourself." In Hinduism, the sacred Vedas proclaim, "The world is one family." In Buddhism, the Buddha said, "If your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete." In Judaism, the Torah reminds, "Do not oppress a stranger, for you know the heart of a stranger." Different languages, different scriptures, yet all point to one truth: kindness is divine. And yet, throughout history, we have fought wars in the name of God, not realizing that God never asked for blood, only for love. Imagine if we followed the spirit of our faiths instead of fighting over their symbols. Imagine if the mosques, temples, churches, and synagogues of the world echoed not with division, but with one prayer: may all beings be happy. Religion was never the problem. Ego was. Greed was. The human tendency to turn truth into tribalism. That was the downfall. When the message becomes more important than the meaning, humanity loses its way. History is a mirror. It shows us what happens when humanity fades. World War II, a tragedy born from hate and the illusion of superiority, left over 70 million dead. The Holocaust, one of humanity's darkest chapters, was not just a war crime. It was a moral failure of an entire civilization. In 1994, Rwanda's genocide took the lives of nearly 800,000 people in 100 days. In Bosnia, in Syria, in Gaza, in Ukraine, we still witness the same old story, repeated under new flags. We send prayers for peace, yet prepare for war. We march for human rights, yet deny them to others. We say, never again. But it always happens again. Because we have not learned the true lesson. Humanity cannot survive without empathy. Martin Luther King Jr. warned, "We must learn to live together as brothers, or perish together as fools." Look at our modern world. Millions of children die each year from hunger, while nations spend trillions on weapons. Climate change destroys the poor first, those who did the least to cause it. Refugees walk across deserts and seas seeking safety, while borders grow higher. And yet, every time disaster strikes, we see something incredible. People rising beyond religion, beyond nationality, beyond race. The world unites to rescue, to heal, to rebuild. That is the proof that humanity still breathes. Morality is the compass of the soul. It guides us when laws fail, when religion is misused, when no one is watching. What is right is often not what is easy. Ethics is the courage to do good, even when there is no reward. Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." This examination, of self, of purpose, of conscience, is what makes us truly human. Every human being carries a small, silent voice inside, the conscience. It whispers when injustice is done, when cruelty is ignored, when truth is bent. The tragedy is not that people don't hear it. It's that they stop listening. In the age of power and politics, morality has become negotiable. But there can be no peace without moral strength, no justice without ethical clarity. To be moral is to live with awareness of how our actions affect others. It is to ask, before every decision, does this bring healing or harm? True faith is not recited. It is practiced through compassion, patience, and forgiveness. When ethics die, humanity dies with it. Throughout history, great minds have reminded us that humanity is the highest faith. Rumi wrote, "I looked for God and found only myself. I looked for myself and found only God." Meaning, the divine lives within the human heart. Iqbal, the poet-philosopher of the East, said, "Man is no longer capable of being truly human." A painful reflection of our times. Mother Teresa taught, "If we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other." Nelson Mandela lived that truth, forgiving those who imprisoned him for 27 years, proving that peace is stronger than revenge. And Malala Yousafzai, the youngest Nobel laureate, reminds us, "We realize the importance of our voices only when we are silenced." These are not just quotes, they are moral monuments, built by those who lived their words. Every generation produces such souls, people who, in moments of darkness, remind the world what light looks like. They are the proof that goodness still survives, even in chaos. So, what must we do? We must rebuild the world, not with walls, but with bridges. We must teach our children not what divides us, but what connects us. We must speak less about superiority and more about solidarity. Every act of kindness is a prayer. Every time we choose understanding over judgment, we take one step closer to peace. Every time we help someone, without asking who they are, we serve God Himself. Because God has many names, but humanity is His only true language. The future depends not on technology, but on tenderness. Not on power, but on purpose. Not on religion alone, but on realization. That we are one family, sharing one fragile home. Let us remember the words of Rabindranath Tagore. The highest education is that which makes our life in harmony with all existence. The wars, the hatred, the divisions, they all fade when we remember a single truth. Humanity is the greatest religion. So, let this be our new creed. To love without condition. To give without expectation. To live with empathy. And to see in every human face a reflection of the divine. The world does not need more believers. It needs more humans. Because in the end, when history forgets our names and nations, one thing will remain: the legacy of our humanity. Subscribe for more deep dive explainers on humanity and education.